Omni Edition Sports presents from Garden City High School in Garden City, Michigan, Cougar Soccer. Tonight, the Garden City Cougars take on the Thurston Eagles in Western Wayne Athletic Conference Boys Soccer action. Hi everybody, I'm Christian Gibbons, and we are getting ready to bring you another exciting night of Cougar Soccer action. It is senior night for 2020, and the sun just came out right before we hit the air after some rain and some wind earlier today. It's just turned out to be a gorgeous night for some soccer and a really good matchup on paper for the Cougars tonight against the Thurston Eagles. Coach Jeff Sapula, talking to him earlier in the week, was telling me about the last three games. Of course, they lost the last three games, but some good stats for Emilio Lycia and Louis Barron and Max Messner and Lucas Falk. We'll get into that as we go on throughout the evening. As for Thurston, they are 1-3 in the league and 1-4 overall. Very young team. They lost 6 seniors to graduation last year, but they're looking to bounce back in 2020 and finish off the year strong before they head towards districts in this very, very strange year that is 2020. So we're getting ready to kick things off here. 40 minutes on the clock for the first half, and like I said, it's senior night for these Garden City Cougars. There are a lot of seniors on this veteran Garden City team, coached by Jeff Sapula. Of course, his assistant is TJ Hurley. And we will talk about our weather. As I said, the sun just came out right before we went on the air, so clearing skies is the term we used, but it has cleared up, it looks like, for the most part. 61 degrees today at kickoff. South-southwest winds at 10 miles an hour. But earlier, as I said, the gusts were just crazy, 25 miles an hour. When we got here to set up this morning, it was not a pretty sight. Garden City with control, kicking it across. Thurston looking to take control back. Garden City will clear the zone. Cougars with a lot of possession early on in this one, very early on in this one. Here at Garden City High School, want to thank all of our volunteers for helping us get on the air tonight. We will thank all of them individually later on in the broadcast. Garden City putting the pressure on a lot more early than they did at the Melvindale game we brought you earlier this season. There you see Sanja putting the pressure on in the Thurston zone. As you see all the players wearing masks as part of the MHSAA's COVID protocols. We will talk to Tobias Tawami later on in the show about how the athletics department has came up with different protocols and procedures to combat COVID-19 and to protect the students and staff and parents of these student athletes. Garden City with early pressure in the Thurston zone. Ochoa pushes it forward, can't get it past the Thurston defender. Working on the far side, kicks it out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in for Garden City. Thanks for joining us here on what has turned out to be a sunny evening here in Garden City. Whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or live on GCTV on cable. Glad you've joined us for all of our fall sports broadcasts this season, whether it's volleyball or football. Thurston letting it go out of bounds there. Garden City will throw it in. It's number 22, Adam Blevins. Thanks. And it turns out it's a Thurston throw-in for number 13, Joshua Washington. Finally getting kicked free out of that scrum. Ochoa will control it. That'll be a kick towards the Thurston net, and the Thurston goalkeeper will catch it and kick it away. That'll be kicked out.
Am I camera on too? Nothing. He's just wearing a shirt.
And this will be a kick for Thurston by number 4, Joseph Heck. Garden City will get possession after that kick. Ochoa will pass it along. On the near side to 22, Adam Blevins, who passes it along to Ben Adams. Ben Adams right to his goalkeeper, Ali Chaban, who is a senior this year, and will honor they will honor the seniors at halftime. Thurston putting some pressure on in the Garden City zone, but the Cougars take back possession, trying to move it downfield. As we have a whistle here. It'll be a Garden City kick. Garden City with some speed and some pressure. Thurston defender can't get there. Garden City just pulls up short. That's number 4, Basil Wolf. Number 11 there, Xander Talbert, putting the pressure on, and the Thurston goalkeeper, whose number we do not have, will make the save. Very young team, as I said, for Thurston. Talking to Bob Ostrowski, the head coach of the Eagles, earlier this week. He pointed out that there are only 2 seniors on this varsity squad for Thurston, and they do not have a JV squad. So a 13-man varsity roster and no JV squad. So a very tight-knit group for the Eagles soccer club this year. Keeping up speed-wise with Garden City so far in this one. Just can't seem to keep it in the Garden City zone. As you see Louis Barron making a break for the ball. He'll kick it and it'll be knocked just wide by number 12, Lucas Falk, for the Cougars. Joseph Heck will kick it away for the Eagles once again. Ochoa passes it up to Sanja, who will leave it there for a Thurston throw-in. Adams keeps it in bounds, boots it downfield. Lucas Falk fighting for it there. Falk passes it along into the middle. It'll be a shot on goal, but just wide with the Thurston defender there. So it'll be a corner kick here for Garden City. Lucas Falk will take the corner kick. See if Garden City can't get their first ball in the net in this contest. Garden City keeps it, and they score!
COUGAR score!
Garden City scores their first goal on the night after a corner kick here on senior night. Scored by number 11. That is Xander Talbert. That is his 5th goal of the season. And his first, and the Garden City Cougars' first, here on senior night against the Thurston Eagles. The Garden City now leads 1-0 with 30 minutes, 25 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ben Adams passing it along, making its way upfield, but Thurston will be there. Joseph Heck kicks it back into the Garden City zone. Thurston putting some pressure on the Garden City defenders. Ochoa pushes it back into the middle. Falk there.
Garden City's first goal
But
of
Heck
the
was there to
evening is
defend
scored
it.
by senior number 11,
Kick it off his feet and out of
Xander
bounds.
Talbert. That's the Garden City goal at 9:35 of the first. That's Xander Talbot at 9:45 of the first for Garden City.
And it'll be another corner kick here for Garden City. Number 21, Bryce Falk will have that one, and that one is kicked up and over the uprights. And it will be a kick now for Thurston. Coming into the game for Thurston, we have a sub. Their only sub on the bench for Thurston. Very depleted Thurston squad this year. Only 13 members of the varsity squad. So only one substitution. That one will be kicked out on the near side. Be a Garden City throw-in. One nothing Garden City Cougars. Here with less than a half hour, 27 minutes to go here in the first half. Christian Gibbons joining you with our Omni Edition Sports crew here on GCTV, Facebook, YouTube, and live on cable. Hope you're joining us as the sun has come out here for a beautiful evening. Looks like the sky has cleared up, and at least for now, the rain has subsided. Another corner kick for the Cougars. Can't get it past the Thurston defenders. And again, it will go out of bounds. Ochoa keeping possession there. Kick back out there to number 13, who took a shot towards the nets. That's Jared Schroeder.
Do I have to keep this bag on?
Falk to throw it in. Kick it across the field to Talbert. Talbert fighting his way with a Thurston defender on the far side. He will kick it back into action for the Cougars. Lucas Falk and Gerardo Ochoa really working that middle of the Garden City offense, keeping constant pressure on the Eagles. Ben Adams taking care of a punt there by Thurston. And the Thurston goalkeeper will kick it out of bounds before Lucas Falk is able to get possession of the ball, so he will throw it in. Joseph Heck will kick it for Thurston. Try and get some offensive action going here for the Eagles. After an early, hard Garden City offensive push. Ochoa with possession now.
Like 5 seconds.
Taking it to the far side, pushing off the Thurston defender. That's Joseph Mamo. Another substitution for Thurston as Brent Messiah will take a seat on the Thurston sideline. Garden City will throw it in. Coach Sapula will catch that one out of bounds. It'll be a Garden City throw-in now by Adam Blevins, number 22. Throws it into Bryce Falk, number 21, who will take it towards the middle. Ben Adams waiting in the Thurston end to take control of that one, get it back to his offense, and Adam Blevins will bring it forward. Ochoa now controls through the Garden City middle. Pass it along to number 17, Louis Barron, who will take it past the Thurston goalie. And he'll score!
Cougars score!
The Thurston goalie got back in time but couldn't make the save, and Louis Barron puts his second goal on the board for Garden City. It's 2-0 with 22 minutes to go here in the first half. Take a look at that goal one more time. You see just a one-on-one. Goalie slides, can't recover in time, but then Barron stops and gets his footwork just right, giving the goalie time to recover, but he can't make the save, nor can the Thurston defender behind him, and it just dekes right into the net. Good goal by Garden City to go up 2-0.
Garden City's second goal of the evening, scored by number 17, Luz Barron.
And now a Thurston kick by number 4. That's Joseph Heck. One of the 2 seniors on this squad for Thurston. The other one being number 2, Thagadi. Thurston will kick it out of bounds on the far side. And so a Garden City throw-in. And as you can see, they don't just have one game ball here in high school soccer. They switch out the balls when they go out of play, and that's a normal procedure under normal times. But normally we have JV players or soccer club kids here to retrieve the balls after they've been kicked out of bounds, but with COVID we don't have that, so players on the sidelines, coaches doing double duty here. This will be a kick here for Thurston. Joseph Heck, who has taken all of the kicks for Thurston from the goal so far tonight, will take this one as well.
I understood it.
One of the Thurston players now trying to retrieve a ball that has gone under the visiting bleachers there under one of our GCTV banners. Believe that is what the holdup is. And while we wait for the ball to be retrieved, let's take a look at Garden City's upcoming schedule. They will head to Detroit Western on October 2nd. Then they'll stay on the road against Robichaud on October 5th. And to end the 3-game road trip, they will visit Melvindale on October 7th. They'll come back home, and they'll take on arch rival Crestwood, who they lost to earlier this season 7-1, but they'll take them on at home here at Garden City High School, and then they'll stay home and visit and welcome in the visitors Detroit Western on October 12th. So that's Garden City's upcoming schedule for 2020. Just a few games left for your Cougars. There's number 19. And a nice save there by the Thurston goalie, as Max Messner tried to make it 3-0 there for Garden City. Here on Senior Night. Glad you've joined us. Christian Gibbons, producer-director Dan York, and our Omni Edition crew. Zach King, our associate producer tonight. Zach Witt on camera, along with Malik Mansour and Eli Wasson, bringing you all the action here from Garden City High School live on our City of Garden City Facebook page, along with our GCTV HD YouTube site, and as always, live on GCTV on cable, channel 12 on Comcast, channel 18 on WOW, and 99 on AT&T Uverse. Joseph Heck will kick this one for Thurston. Garden City pouncing on that one quickly, and Max Messner took control of that one, being bounced back towards the Garden City goal, but it will be offsides. Haven't talked about Garden City's senior goalkeeper Ali Chaban much this game. He's a senior along with Ben Adams, Ochoa, Talbert, Falk, Schroeder, Lycia, Messner, and Bryce Falk, all seniors for this Garden City squad. So a very veteran team in 2020 for Jeff Sapula's Cougars. Lucas Falk deking around a Thurston defender, trying to keep possession of this one on the far side in the Thurston zone. And we'd like to remind you to stay up to date on any Garden City urgent information, including snow emergencies, road closures, and that sort of thing. You can just text our zip code 48135 to 888777. You can sign up for our Nixle service and get text and or email notifications from the city of Garden City. Again, you text 48135 to the number 888777. Lots of ways to stay connected with the city of Garden City: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, as I just said, the Nixle service. That one rolls slowly out of bounds. Be a Garden City throw-in. Xander Talbert throws it in for the Cougars towards the Thurston net. Louis Barron keeps it in bounds for the Cougars, passes it towards the middle. And it'll be kicked out by number 13 for Thurston, Joshua Washington. Once again, Joseph Heck will kick it for Thurston. Getting a lot of work in here for the Eagles squad tonight is Joseph Heck. Ochoa keeps possession, taking it to the near side. Ochoa is offsides. He tried to head towards the Thurston goal. Joseph Heck once again kicks it away for the Eagles. At midfield, Garden City will pick it up. Number 21, Bryce Falk, passing it across, trying to get it to the feet of Louis Barron. Thurston goalkeeper will kick it, and Thurston will keep possession into the Garden City zone. Getting some offensive juice until it's stolen away by Xander Talbert, who punches it along, and the Thurston goalkeeper will control. Garden City keeps that one in bounds. That's Ben Adams manning the Garden City defense tonight. Passing it along to number 11, Xander Talbert, who looks to cross it to the goal, and the Thurston goalkeeper is there. As we said, we haven't seen a lot of him tonight, but Emilio Lycia with 4 goals, 6 assists this season. He was one of the power players in that Melvindale game that we did earlier this season. Louis Barron, who scored a goal earlier tonight, now has 2 goals on the season, 1 assist. And it's been sort of an up and down year for the Cougars. They're 2-5 overall, but that includes some very stiff competition, including Orchard Lake St. Mary's, along with that Melvindale squad. They did have a big win over Redford Thurston earlier this season, winning that one 9-1. Hard loss the other day on the 28th to Crestwood, one of their arch rivals, but they'll try to get payback on that one coming up later on in the season. And the wind's still a factor tonight, as you can see the flag blowing here at Garden City High School's football field. Of course, we will bring you football this Friday here on GCTV. Looking forward to that, as well as some other telecasts we have planned for you the rest of this fall sports season. So even though you can't be, and of course, one of the reasons we're doing so many of these telecasts is because fans aren't allowed to be in the stadium, and I guess even though you can't be in the stadium, you can be at the stadium, as you see those fine folks outside the fence. There are some fans here. I believe it's 2 tickets per each student athlete involved in the game, so there are some fans here socially distanced here at the stadium. And I do believe if there are any parents from Thurston here, they are on the home side of the bleachers here at Garden City High School. Of course, we want to thank our GCTV crew for coming out in this unprecedented year, helping us produce all of these games. Most of them volunteers or interns. As we said earlier, we really couldn't do any of what we do here at GCTV without them, and we want to thank them a whole bunch because they do yeoman's work bringing you these telecasts. Less than 10 minutes to go here at Garden City High School. 2-0 for your Cougars here on what's turned out to be a sunny night with just a few clouds in the sky after some, I don't want to say scary weather, but we had some rain earlier. Didn't know if we'd be able to start this one on time, but we have, and Garden City with a nice 2-0 lead here on senior night. The team will say goodbye to a bunch of seniors. It's a very senior-heavy team, this Garden City Cougar squad. And then you flip the script, and Thurston with only 2 seniors. So a very young team on the other side of the field, with only 1 substitute on the sidelines for Bob Ostrowski's side. As you see Thurston putting the offensive pressure on, trying to move the ball upfield, and it gets knocked out of bounds. And Garden City will throw it in. Falk, with control, passes it to the center of the field, heading towards the goal. And Thurston's goalkeeper will get that one in his hands. So all Garden City here in this first half as it's winding down. Big boot there for Garden City, heading back towards the net. Lewis Barron will kick that one up and over the uprights. Xander Talbert with a goal earlier. You see some of our Garden City. There you see some of our Garden City athletes. As we wait for a ball to be kicked away here by Thurston. It's number 4, Joseph Heck, who's done all the kicking for Thurston tonight. That one will roll out of bounds, and it'll be a Thurston throw-in. That's number 1, Brett Messiah. Actually, it'll be a Garden City throw-in for number 11, Xander Talbert. Garden City with control. Brendan Luck with his first touch tonight. Thurston now controlling. Back to Garden City. Defense moving up all the way to the Garden City 40-yard line. Keeping the pressure on Thurston, keeping him out of the Garden City zone. Joshua Washington throws it in for Thurston, gets knocked right back out of bounds by number 21 for Thurston. And a ball will get thrown from the Garden City goalkeeper, Ali Chaban. As we said, normally we have soccer club players or JV players to help kind of corral these balls around the field. Glad you joined us here on Omnidition Sports and GCTV for this Cougar Soccer telecast. Garden City leading 2-0. 5 minutes to go here in the first half. A game a lot closer, I think, than Jeff Sapula and his squad thought it would be at this point in the game here on senior night. But a 2-0 lead here for Garden City High School as we head towards halftime. Of course, Garden City and Thurston in the same district for the MHSAA postseason. It'll be hosted at Divine Child High School. Their other opponents will be Allen Park, as I said, at Divine Child. So Divine Child will be in the district along with Detroit Cesar Chavez and Melvindale along with Garden City and Thurston. So that's a very interesting district. I know Garden City normally, I say normally in air quotes, but normally is in the district with Detroit Cesar Chavez. And that's always a very interesting game when Garden City faces off with that squad. So Thurston's goalkeeper will kick this one away. Kicks it right to his defender. Then it gets booted up. Of course, you see that less and less now, the goalkeeper not doing most of his kicks. And then you see some goalkeepers who aren't necessarily the best at kicking who just get it right to one of his defenders who then can kick it away and get it out of the zone. And with a young squad, that's something maybe the Thurston coaching staff will have to work with the goalkeeper on as he matures in the Thurston system. Another substitution for Thurston, rotating players in and out throughout the game. Garden City with control and with most of the control throughout the evening. But only 2-0 lead to show for it here in the first half. That will be stopped by the Thurston goalkeeper. That's a good kick by the Thurston goalkeeper, something we haven't seen in this game. We have a whistle here by the official. So it'll be a Thurston kick here in the Garden City zone. High kick over the uprights. And out of bounds, as you see Ali Chaban running after that one near the flagpole. Coming off the field for the Cougars for a break is Louis Barron, who has a goal tonight, along with number 18, Zachary Dumas, who is in coming off for the Cougars.
Last minute to play in the first half.
Less than a minute remaining here at Garden City High School. Of course, coming up at halftime, we will talk to Derek Fisher, who did an interview earlier with Dan York in the studio. He'll talk about some of the improvements that will be being made in the athletics department here at Garden City High School as part of the new bond issue that was passed by voters. Looking forward to hearing that interview at halftime. 2-0 lead for Garden City as we play out the rest of this first half here on Senior Night 2020. Glad you've joined us. Last second shot is wide of the net. And that will do it for the first half here at Garden City High School. Your score 2-0 here on Senior Night.
That's the end of the first half. Our score,
And that will do it for the first half.
Visiting Redford Thurston Eagles. Bill.
In just a few seconds, you will hear from Dan York in our studio with Superintendent of the Garden City Public Schools, Derek Fisher, about some of our athletics department improvements as part of the new bond issue. Let's take a listen to that interview.
This is an interesting thing because we were basically regulated out of the pool business. Now, obviously, we had some hardware problems and some infrastructure problems there too. But eventually, they changed the rules for diving, said you had to be X amount of feet above the water, but also you have to be so far from the ceiling. And it is a very low ceiling. And then eventually our kids were not even allowed to jump off the sides of the pool because the pool was determined to be too shallow.
Correct. By NHSAA guidelines, it was too shallow for out-of-pool entry.
So that will be fixed.
The competition pool will be brought up to full NHSAA specs.
So they'll be able to use not diving boards, but jumping boards or whatever they call it, starting blocks.
Starting blocks.
Thank you. And literally that means taking the roof off. That's part of it, right?
Redoing the roof deck of that pool facility. That was, that goes back to 60, 61. And it's a rebar and construction roof, or rebar and cement roof. So they really don't use that type of build anymore. And that's over the years, that's deteriorated and challenged. So they will remove that.
They built a road over the pool.
Exactly. It's like a highway overpass going over the pool. So that'll be removed, and they will put a whole new roof structure on there, and the whole pool deck will be redone, and then that competition pool will be dug out and redone and retiled, and we'll have a really nice facility for competition.
And there were conversations about possibly taking the pool at the middle school and doing this there instead because it has a slightly higher roof. It is a slightly bigger room,
Correct.
But ultimately the decision was made to repair the one at the high school.
Yeah, and ultimately that came down to when we started looking at repurposing cost for the pool or a demolition of that pool. You're getting into 60, 70, 80% cost of the restoration of the pool facility itself.
Okay.
So we were in for a penny, in for a pound at that point. And the feedback that we had from our stakeholder groups, they felt it was important that the high school itself, the physical high school, had that pool facility to support our student athletes and the swim program.
Right, we've had a pretty good swim program for the past 5 or 8 years.
Yes.
And they're nomads. They swim at Crestwood. They've swum at Wayne. Mostly at Crestwood now. So they'll still have to be nomads for about a year.
Yes.
But ultimately, they will have a home pool to swim at.
And a very nice one at that.
And a very nice one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And then finally, high school football field.
Yes.
Field turf is one of those more noticeable things that gets everybody's attention. Obviously, it's a better playing surface than maybe not grass, but grass that isn't taken care of to the degree that it needs to be. And we simply don't have the ability to maintain that football field at a high level with grass.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, if you're looking at using the property quite a bit, and if it's wet, it's going to present challenges. We have a marching band that wants to get out there. We know that we play girls and boys soccer out there. We know that we partner with Garden City Youth Athletics to use that field. So it does get a lot of usage. But we also know there's a lot of wear and tear. And
Plus your own 2 football teams.
Our own 2 football teams, exactly. And then the weather and the upkeep and the watering. So having a grass field, you invest in that at least as much as you would a turf field.
Yeah.
And the wear and tear and the ability to get out there and use it isn't always there with a grass field.
And it's the upfront cost that creates the sticker shock of laying out, I don't know, $700,000 or $800,000 for turf field.
Yeah, when you factor in some of the pieces now, some of that has already been taken care of because we've already renovated and replaced the high school track. So we were able to put some infrastructure in there that would eventually wind up helping to support a turf field.
And again, I won't force you to comment on this, but a big cost that's associated with this is the fact that we basically have to create an underground retention system for water. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is a piece built in there for retention. And anytime you put a hard surface down, as we saw with our high school parking lot, you got to be very mindful of stormwater runoff. And there's a formula that the county uses that's based on square footage of roof, square footage of parking lot, square footage of available hard surfaces.
And again, I won't put you in this position, but in my opinion, when you take a piece of property that has as much grass and as much exposed ground as you have there, more than anywhere in the city but in the park, I think it's absurd to have to waste taxpayers' dollars on these water retention systems when the Rouge is right down the street. So that's just
You'd be a good Wayne County commissioner. I'd like to get you on the Wayne County Commission.
Glenn Anderson and I have talked about this a lot. I think it's an absolute absurd waste of money, but that's what government does sometimes. Well, I want to thank you very much for spending time to talk with us. I want to wish you best of luck, man. You have got the hardest job in town right now.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of luck getting schools open, getting kids settled. I hope we're able to get the buildings open sooner than later, and I wish you the best of luck on all of these renovations, because I think the residents, even those that don't have kids in school, will be very happy to see these projects done and to see the curb appeal of the Garden City schools improve dramatically.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
The census, a special time when we count every person in each home in every neighborhood.
Do kids count?
Of course, counting everyone in your home helps support your neighborhood by funding things like schools, hospitals, and buses. Complete the census by calling or going online, or return your form by mail.
It's easy, secure, and most important, it's totally private.
Make your family count!
This year, make sure every child counts. Visit 2020census.gov.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Welcome back to Garden City High School, where Garden City Cougars have a 2-0 lead with 2 minutes left until we start the second half of action. Here on Senior Night 2020, of course, we just watched the Senior Night ceremony with all of the parents. And as usual, a really nice, touching ceremony to say goodbye to the class of 2021 here at Garden City High School. A 2-0 score for Garden City. Garden City controlling most of the action in the first half, although they should have had a lot more scoring opportunities the way they were playing. But we're stuck here at a 2-0 lead for Garden City. Talking to Coach Sapula earlier in the week, he did talk about how this veteran squad is going to miss the production of the seniors, including goalkeeper Ali Taban, and the Falk brothers, Bryce and Lucas, along with Xander Talbert, who's really had a good game so far for Garden City tonight. As we get ready for the second half, glad you've joined us here on Omni Edition Sports and GCTV, live on Facebook and YouTube, along with GCTV on cable, on Channel 12 on Comcast, Channel 18 on WOW, and Channel 99 on Universe. Thurston with only one man on the bench here tonight with a 13-man varsity squad. Of course, Thurston is 1-3 in the Western Wayne Athletic Conference, and they are 1-4 overall. Head coach Bob Ostrowski talking to me about the young team that they have, as opposed to the veteran team that Garden City has. They lost 6 seniors last year, so they lost a lot of their veteran talent to graduation last year. And with only 2 seniors on this 2020 squad, you can really tell some of the mistakes on the defense that they're making are just maturity and more practice will work those things out as they move through the Thurston program. So we're getting ready to kick it off here in the second half on Omni Edition Sports from Garden City High School. I'm Christian Gibbons. Dan Rourke is our producer-director this evening. Zach King is down in the truck with Dan as our associate producer. Malik Mansour along with Eli Wasson and Zach Witt on cameras. Rhiannon Flores on graphics tonight. And we want to thank Rhiannon for stepping up and running graphics for us tonight, while also working on some homework and taking some time out of her busy schedule to be here with us tonight. As that ball is retrieved from the far side as we are underway here in the second half. Garden City with a 2-0 lead. Pushing right through the Thurston defense and hitting that one high and way out of bounds. So this will be a goal kick for the Thurston Eagles. And this will be number 10 taking the kick. That is Deshaun Shorter. First time he's taken a goal kick for the Eagles tonight. And a Thurston throw-in. in the Garden City end. And as you heard at halftime, some of the athletics department improvements here at Garden City High School include a new turf field here at the football stadium for Garden City High School. And that is going to be a very nice improvement for all of the student athletes here at the high school. Of course, right now they are on a natural grass surface, which has its benefits as well, especially for soccer, because most of these teams are playing on artificial surfaces, so they come here. It's an advantage for the Cougar team right now to have this real grass surface to play on. You see Garden City kicking it out of bounds. Thrown back in. And the Thurston goalkeeper sliding to get that ball. And he will kick it away. And the Garden City defense will work at about midfield. This will be a Thurston throw-in now. Working along the far side. Ali Chaban now will kick that to his defense. That one kicked back by Lewis Barron. A lot of back and forth action here in the Garden City zone. Thurston coming out a little faster than they were in the first half, trying to keep the pressure on the Garden City defense. Ochoa will kick this one away. Number 27. And then Deshaun Shorter with control now. That one kicked up. Lucas Falk will take the kick, and then the whistle is blown. And the clock will stop now. I believe this will be a penalty kick for the Cougars. Of course, with the officials not necessarily signaling, yes, it will be a penalty kick for the Cougars. Lucas Falk will take this one, and he will score! Lucas Falk getting the third goal of the evening for the Cougars on the board. The first here in the second half on senior night. Take a look at this one again. Just on the far side, and the goalkeeper couldn't get his paw on it, and it's 3-0 Garden City. Thurston takes this one.
Number 12, Lucas Falk on the help kick. Time at the Cougar goal. 4:30 of the second. That's Lucas Falk at 4:30 on the PK.
Lucas Falk with that goal. The Falk name in recent history, big part of this Garden City Cougar soccer program. James Falk played in the mid to late 2010s for Coach Sapula. Heck kicks that one into the Garden City zone.
Probably
Will roll out of bounds. Lights are on here at Garden City High School as afternoon turns into evening on what has turned out to be a gorgeous night after some rain and some high winds earlier in the day. Falk putting the pressure on the Thurston defense. And Thurston will finally clear it out of the zone. .56 degrees here in the second half. Glad you're watching us live here on GCTV, GCTV HD on YouTube, and on our Facebook page. Of course, we'll be playing back all of these events throughout the next couple of weeks on GCTV, and of course you can watch all of our sports broadcasts on GCTV HD on YouTube in high definition at any time on demand. Just visit our YouTube site. That's youtube.com/GCTVHD for that.
Wide now, Xander, get wide. It'll come back to you.
Thurston with control now. Attempting to clear it out of the zone, and they do. Thurston with a lot more speed here in the second half. Moving towards the ball a lot quicker. With a lot more pressure. Heck will kick that one out of bounds as he tumbles to the ground. And a yellow card here. Not completely sure who it was called on. I did not see who the official signaled it towards. We think it is on number 17, Louis Barron for Garden City. He's taking a seat here on the bench for the Cougars, one of our goal scorers earlier tonight. A junior for this Garden City squad. Just under 32 minutes to go here in the second half at Garden City High School, as the Thurston goalkeeper has possession and will kick it away here. Right to the feet of a Garden City player.
There you go.
Basil Wolf with control now. Passes it to Lucas Falk. Passes ahead. And the Thurston goalkeeper will beat number 21, Bryce Falk, to the ball. And will once again kick it away. Christian Gibbons here at Garden City High School. on a beautiful night for soccer here. 3-0 lead for the Cougars as they are trying to pick up the pace here after Thurston has come out with a little more speed here in the second half, especially on the defensive side of things. Xander Talbert will throw this one in
Hey, Max, run in, bring your defender.
near the Thurston goal, right to Bryce Falk.
Okay, good idea.
So it'll be another Thurston goal kick here. Number 2 kicking it, that's Fogady, a senior, one of the 2 seniors here on this Thurston squad.
Back up like this, all right? Hey, so you don't have to turn, and you can still see everything. Turn. Turn. Take it in. Good ball. Get in now.
Bryce Falk with control now on the far side near the Thurston goal. Fighting away a Thurston defender. He'll cross it to Talbert, and what a grab by the Eagles goaltender. What a beautiful grab there by the Thurston goalkeeper. That was a great kick there by Talbert. And wonderful save by the goalie there for Thurston. As he comes out of the net here. Max Messner, though, can't get past him, and he will kick it away.
First 2. Why now, Xander? Make you run wide. Yeah, in case that's overplayed. Behind you.
Now kicked out of bounds. It'll be a Garden City throw.
Woo. Good. Shoot. Oh.
So as we said, the Garden City Cougars will head on a 3-game road trip after this one tonight. They will head to Detroit Western, then Robichaud, and then they will face off once again with Melvindale. Then they'll come home for a game against Dearborn Heights Crestwood, and we'll have that one for you here on GCTV. And then another game on the 12th of October against Detroit Western. That one will be here at Garden City High School. And then on the flip side for Thurston, they will play Crestwood on October 5th, and they'll play at home against Crestwood. Then Robichaud will visit Redford Thurston High School for a game on the 7th of October. And then they will head on the road against Melvindale on October 12th. So Western Wayne Athletic Conference the rest of the way, at least for Thurston. Garden City with the home and away against Detroit Western, along with conference opponents for the rest of the 2020 boys soccer schedule. Like I said, we'll have the Crestwood game here for you live on GCTV, and then this Friday we will have Cougar football action live at just after 6:50, 6:55 here on YouTube, Facebook, and on GCTV on cable. Dan York will have the call, as he most always does for a Cougar football telecast, as the Thurston goalkeeper kicks this one away once again towards the near side, and it will roll out of bounds where Talbot will throw it in for the Cougars. Garden City pushing once again. As Heck knocks that one out of bounds. Let's take a look again at that radar as we see some rain maybe heading towards us later on, maybe at the tail end of this contest. Right now, a beautiful sky with some clouds starting to fill in, but there is a chance of rain in the area. Hopefully we can get this one finished before the rain comes in. A Garden City corner kick now for number 12, Lucas Falk. Setting up his teammates. That one gets headed. And Garden City will control. Garden City deep in the Thurston zone. Thurston not able to get a handle on the ball as they do and clear it. As the clock stops for an injury here. That is number 19, Max Messner, standing up under his own power.
Subs, coach.
Looks like he'll be okay. The official has a conversation with Ben Adams, one of the Cougar defenders, one of the many seniors on this team.
My bad. Take it, Santiago, take it.
Thurston putting some fast pressure on this Garden City defense. A push off there by number 4, Basil Wolf, will get called. And Thurston will kick this one. That's number 2. Fogarty will kick it away towards the Garden City goal. That one is out of bounds, so it will be a corner kick for Thurston. 23 minutes remaining here from Garden City High School in the second half of Senior Night 2020. Garden City hosting the Thurston Eagles. Garden City with a 3-0 lead. Glad you've joined us. I'm Christian Gibbons. My producer's Dan York, down in the truck with our GCTV Omnidition Sports crew. As that corner kick rolls all the way to the other side of the field and then is kicked out of bounds. Thurston's goalkeeper getting a little bit of a break for at least a few moments here, while play is on the Garden City side of the field. That one kicked towards the Garden City net. Xavier Hamilton fighting to keep possession of that one. He cannot do that. Lucas Falk now passes it back into the Thurston zone. Garden City putting on some pressure here, trying to beat the Thurston defender. And the goalkeeper for Thurston is there. And then a nice shot high above the goal by Lucas Falk. Fast pressure by the Cougars. Midway through this second half of action with a 3-0 lead. Another goal kick for Thurston here. Lucas Falk controlling this one. Hot shot towards the net. Saved there by the Thurston goalkeeper. Taking a moment to get up. Clock will stop. Looks to be in some pain. And I don't know that they have another goalkeeper. Having only one substitute on the bench, as the Thurston coaching staff and the trainer here at Garden City High School make a visit out to the Thurston goalkeeper. As we said, we will be back here on Friday night, our GCTV and Omni Edition sports crew, to bring you some Cougar football action. Dan York on the call along with Jeremy Jenkins. You can watch that one right here live on GCTV, on our YouTube channel GCTV HD, and on our Facebook page, City of Garden City, Michigan. And then we'll be back for some Cougar soccer action when they take on arch rival Crestwood. The Chargers come to town on October 9th, and you can watch that one. The soccer game at 4 p.m. kick. And this Friday, it'll be a 7 o'clock start for football. We'll be on the air just before 7 with a little bit of pregame coverage. Dan and Jeremy on the call, as I said. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully another gorgeous night for some Cougar football action after some 2 great wins by the Garden City Cougars this football season. As you see the Thurston goalkeeper limping his way off the field. (3-0) lead for Garden City. I'm Christian Gibbons here at Garden City High School. Clock stopped here at 21 minutes and 17 seconds. As we're awaiting the resumption of play. I think we have a substitution here for goalkeeper. Getting his goalie gloves on. Getting ready to take the net for the Thurston Eagles. The officials on the near sideline having a conversation before we get back to action here. And we are back underway here at Garden City High School. A goal kick will start things off. And Thurston turning and burning into the Garden City zone. Keeping the pressure on the Cougars here in the second half. Ali Chaban tried to get in for that one. And that will get knocked out of bounds. And this will be a kick for Garden City. And we'll get kicked out of bounds, and it'll be a Thurston throw in. Good defensive pressure by Thurston here in the second half. For sure is Garden City pushing it along. And we're joined now in the booth by Athletic Director here at Garden City High School, Tobias Tawami. Thanks for being on with us, Toby.
Thanks for having me. How we doing?
We're doing good. Garden City with a 3-0 lead, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I like winning a lot more than losing.
So, we talked a little bit about it tonight, but a lot of the, as you can see, some of the socially distanced parents and players on the sidelines. So talk to me a little bit about what the athletic department has done to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the athletic department.
Well, where do we start? You know, even from the moments of before the game of the ticket collection and process. So what we have going on is each roster for each individual sport created a list of spectators. So each student would put their parent names per se on a list. We give them a ticket. They put their first and last name on the ticket, phone number, so we have some contact tracing, and come in, they get their ticket, they sign in. Each athlete is only able currently to have two spectators per person. We come in, I feel like we have numerous hand sanitizing and washing stations all over, and you can see from here the kids on the bench have to be separated with the chairs in staggered rows. We have the bleachers marked off, you know, X'd off every other row, 6 feet apart, so all the parents can also stay separated. And you know, our exit procedures are a little bit more fluid, and the parents have been acing it with just, you know, getting them out of the facility and venue so we don't have overcrowding after the games.
And that's really important, and you know, I think you guys have been doing an excellent job. You see the hand sanitizer stations everywhere in the gymnasium for volleyball, and here for football and soccer. As you see a free kick here for Thurston. That's number 2, Fogarty. Will take that for the Eagles. Try and get Thurston on the board, and that will hit the wall, bounce up, and will be kicked away and out of bounds after that free kick. Tobias Tawami joining us, the athletic director here at Garden City High School. So it's been a very interesting fall sports season for you guys. Spring sports got canceled, and then spring turned into summer, turned into fall, and here we are. But we're getting these games in, and that's what's really important.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, we went from getting things canceled. You know, I don't know if we'll be able to play until, heck, you know, maybe next spring, and you know, then all of a sudden they brought us back, and then we were shut down again, and then brought back again. So we're definitely very thankful that the kids are having an opportunity to come, be together, and compete, and you know, not feel like there's a void that they missed in their high school career. So, you know, I think with everything else they're going through and the online school, all these other changes, you know, no doubt the sports give them a little bit of a sense of normalcy.
And that was one of the things with especially football, the practice. They started practice, and then the MHSAA came out and said, okay, we're going to play in the spring this coming year. And then it turned into, okay, we're going to try and play this fall. So then practice had to start again. So talk to me a little bit about the back and forth with the changes with the football team.
Yeah, actually the first time that we were out there, we were practicing that first week. I think it was the week of August 12th. And we were out there, and we got the email around maybe 4 o'clock on a Friday, and we happened to be at practice, which the good and the bad of it, we were at football practice, and you know, we called Coach Baker and let him know the news. And the good news is we were able to take the kids right in and speak to them, you know, directly and collect their equipment right away. But the bad news is, you know, you really didn't have any time to prepare for that moment and, you know, prepare to how you're going to address the kids, and we didn't have any answers at that point of what's next, you know. And so there was some good and some bad, and kind of walked out of there.
Good defense there by the Eagles. But putting pressure on there was Jared Schroeder, making his way towards the Thurston net. Now it'll be a Garden City throw-in.
Didn't want to miss that goal there.
No.
But then, you know, we sat on the sideline for a little bit. The other sports continued to persist on the idea that we did not yet know if there was going to be a competition date. And then all of a sudden, you know, the chips started to fall, and we were back playing football. And actually, when they announced that we were back playing football, they announced the competition dates for soccer and volleyball, and I believe that happened on like a Wednesday or a Thursday evening, and soccer was live to play like 2 days later or something like that. So it was very fast.
And I think, I don't know if this is 100% correct, but I think soccer only missed that opening tournament that they normally play.
I believe the first date for competition in soccer was, can't think of the top of my head, it might have been like August 20th or something like that, and I think they were able to play beginning that Labor Day weekend, or Labor Day weekend. So I don't know, probably a week or so, 10 days max that they missed out on. I think we missed out on 2 games, possibly. I think we missed out on Lincoln Park. We were able to reschedule the Orchard Lake St. Mary's game, and we also missed out on Clarenceville.
And I know that Coach Sapula really likes those out-of-conference games. Gives him a chance to kind of see where his team's at early in the season. As you see a goal kick here for Thurston. Christian Gibbons, Tobias Tawami here at Garden City High School. 3-0 lead for the Cougars with just over 13 minutes to play here in the second half. Glad you joined us live here on GCTV. And with volleyball and soccer, like you said, they were able to play pretty much right away. Football, there was a little bit of a waiting period for practicing and warming up for the season, and I think they missed 2 games.
They missed 3 games.
3, okay.
They missed weeks 1, 2, and 3, and the way they decided to do it is they just had us pick up our schedules starting at where our week 4 would have been.
Which was a win against Melvindale.
Yep, good game versus Melvindale, and followed up with another good win versus Romulus this past Friday. And then have Annapolis home for our last scheduled home game of the year this Friday.
And for the first time, at least that I remember, every team in the state of Michigan for football makes the playoffs this year.
Everybody that did 2 things. Everybody that A, opted into the playoffs, which not everybody did, and B, everybody that is able to play at least 4 games.
Okay. Kind of a different feel for football.
Football last week, so we know the other 7 possible teams that we could play, depending on where we finish points wise and record wise in comparison to the rest of them. So that was a little exciting to see who we might play. It's never been tunneled like that for us, and presented. So that's pretty cool.
Right, that was always the fun of Selection Sunday, is waiting to see who you're going to play in the first round of the playoffs. But at least,
and now that we know, if you want to call it our district, if you will, it'll be a little bit easier to follow as to, following the points on MHSAA.com and trying to figure out where we might be, who we might be matching up with, a little bit earlier than normal.
And speaking of websites and online, talk a little bit about your new Facebook page.
Creating a Facebook page, Garden City Athletic Department, just as another tool to communicate with the players, with the fans, with the parents, trying to get messages out to them, as far as schedules and game changes, senior night announcements like we had tonight, and just as another tool to try to communicate with them, as opposed to them always relying on their student athletes. We know our student athletes don't always communicate with their parents every night.
Well, and especially with the virtual school thing. You're not in school. You can't hand them a note that says, here, take this home to your mom.
Yeah, no doubt. It's more difficult than ever. But, hopefully that's one of the good things, out of this experience for the kids is, they end up with a little bit more self-reliance, a little bit more self-accountability, throughout the process. So there can be good things, with the virtual school and everything else going on as well.
Well, and that's one of the things about high school sports is being responsible to yourself, not only yourself, but to your team, to your coaches, to your parents, keeping your grades up.
And I think even the accountability part of getting kids to practice, I've been blown away by our attendance numbers across all sports. We're having absolutely fantastic turnout as far as soccer and football and volleyball and cross country and tennis kids, coming to practice every day. And I was a little bit worried about that because, with a lot of parents at work and everything, it's probably a lot easier for these kids just to say, I'm going to stay in bed today, or, take a nap or, something else. But I think the kids were just really craving this opportunity to be together and to compete and play the sports they love, that they're showing up. And it's been an exciting time for the coaches, and, they're happier probably than ever just to have the opportunity.
And as we're sitting here, the heavens have just opened up here at Garden City High School. The rain is pouring as play continues. We're under 10 minutes here. 3-0 lead for your Cougars. I'm here with Tobias Tawami, the athletic director here at Garden City High School. I'm Christian Gibbons, joining you on GCTV.
I thought it was gonna hold out on us on this rain here. It was raining pregame.
I did too. We just looked at the radar, and I thought the rain was going to hold off just a little bit longer, but apparently not. So once again, the rain falling here at Garden City High School. Earlier in the second half, a goalkeeper change for Thurston after the starting goalkeeper was injured. 3-0 lead for the Cougars. Some slipping and sliding going on the field. And that's one of the things at halftime. We saw an interview with Derek Fisher about some of the improvements here as we get a whistle and a stoppage of the clock for an injury. The wind has now picked up as well. And that is Talbert, Xander Talbert, number 11 for Garden City. Training staff and Coach Zapula there checking on him. And as he gets up with help from the training staff.
Looks like an ankle.
And coming in for him is number 16, Everett Thorne, who has a goal and an assist on the season. And I was talking about this earlier, one of the advantages, if you will, is the real grass surface here at the high school. A lot of teams don't have, or they have an artificial playing surface, so when they come here, the ball plays differently, it bounces differently, and that's going away.
Yeah, but I think that'll be a good thing. It's something I'm excited about. We're excited about the installation of artificial turf here that hopefully get underway this summer. And, but I will miss the grass. It's a little bit traditional, a little bit old school. And, I think we have a terrific, pitch, if you will.
The Buildings and Grounds crew does an amazing job. Chris and everybody at Buildings and Grounds who takes care of this field does an excellent job. But yeah, it's been a long time coming for the artificial surface. I'm really excited to see some upgrades to the athletic facilities here at the high school.
And I've seen pictures and some renderings now of the surface we're going to get with the artwork and everything, and it's beautiful. And I think it's going to be one of those things. The first time you see it, you're definitely going to say, "Wow!" It's going to be a very beautiful piece.
Thurston's goalkeeper will pick up the ball. As you can see, the rain is just pouring down onto the playing surface, as the monsoon has arrived here at Garden City High School. Some of the fans who are watching outside the fence have now made their way to their cars to finish watching the game across the street here.
Looks like most of our fans were prepared and brought their ponchos.
Yeah, because if I'm one of the 2 people allowed in to see the game, I ain't leaving.
No, definitely.
Players on the bench, not so prepared. And again, we want to thank our entire crew for braving this weather tonight. Malik Mansour, Eli Wasson outside on camera. People in the truck. Dan York, Zach King, Rhiannon Flores for coming out tonight and helping us produce this show. 3-0 so far here for Garden City High School is the score against Thurston. 6 minutes to go here in the second half. It was a beautiful night for soccer for most of this game.
No doubt. Last 10 minutes, though, looks like the kids are going to get a little bit wet.
Wouldn't be soccer without a little mud, though.
They like playing in the rain. As long as it's not too cool and crisp out, you know, they enjoy a couple rain games a year. You'll always remember them.
Well, my brother played for Coach Sapula. He loved playing the field in the rain. It's fun, slipping and sliding with your defenders and getting all up in their grill. When he's in goal, not so much. It's a little too cold when you're just standing there in the rain.
Yeah, and I think for soccer, I think it's, you know, when you have the ball, it's not so bad because you know your next move. You know, it's the defenders that, you know, have to react to the offensive player and don't know their next step that typically have a little bit more trouble handling their footing.
Shot towards the net there by number 21, Bryce Falk. Goes up high and hits the football uprights. Thurston goalkeeper will kick this away. Cho will pass that one to the center. It'll be kicked away by a Thurston goalkeeper, or a Thurston defender. My apologies. And will be kicked out of bounds. And it will be a Garden City throw-in. Tobias Twami joining me here in the waning minutes of this contest. We've talked about soccer, we've talked about football. Volleyball, a little different animal being an indoor sport. Are there any differences in the protocols for an indoor sport versus an outdoor sport?
As far as the protocols, not really. You know, same thing. The things we can control are the seating, you know, which is the same indoor as outdoor. The ticket policy, which is the same indoor and outdoor. The students are still required, as well as the coaches, officials, and spectators, to, you know, stay masked indoor and outdoor. So, really, you know, although there are differences in the setup, as far as, you know, procedures and protocols that we're dealing with for COVID-19, right now they're not too different indoor and outdoor for us. They will be changing, though. The MHSAA released new guidance today in regards to spectator seating at outdoor facilities, indoor facilities, including gyms and pools. That comes into effect October 9th, which is next Friday. So things will be changing. Obviously, it's still up to each individual local district to decide how they're going to, you know, handle any of the new guidance. But there is some new guidance coming for indoor and outdoor that is a little bit different. It kind of wearies away from the 2 spectators, and the limits are placed based on seating capacity as opposed to participants.
Okay, and one of the things I noticed watching the volleyball games is normally between games the teams will switch sides, and that is not happening.
So yeah, we can't switch sides in between, and that helps with just the general movement, but it also helps with our student athletes being able to keep their water, because we're not providing water bottles and cups. You know, they get to keep their water in one spot. But you see that same thing out here. Typically, your soccer teams are on the same side, on the far side of the field, in an effort to keep the 2 teams separated. You know, we have the home team near the home bleachers and the visiting team, you know, in front of their visiting bleachers. So same type of concept inside with that. And one other thing that we can do in volleyball that's a little bit different is, you know, during the game we are able to sanitize, and do some of those things. We can clean the nets and clean the balls, where you don't really have those opportunities in soccer, to clean the net, but also everyone's not touching the net, but
Right.
one goalie. So it is a little bit different. I'd say one of the biggest things the kids miss, as a league policy, we're not doing starting lineups and, some of the pregame ambiance that some of the students are used to and look forward to, and we'll see how that goes from here, but that's across the board, and that's probably something that's a little bit different for the
Thurston
kids as well.
there with their first opportunity, almost in the net, but Ali Chaban there to make the save for Garden City. And
Right.
that's one of the things I miss too, is the post game handshake. We're doing the wave.
Yeah, the wave, yep. The first time I saw the wave, I was nervous. It almost looks like taunting, and but now everyone's getting the hang of it, and the kids seem to enjoy it, and they miss it too, because as local as most of our games are, in with club teams and AAU teams and rec teams, and most of these kids have a buddy or two on an opposing team, so they miss being able to recognize them after the games as well.
Garden City there in the net, but it looks like it was called offsides.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. We got about 30 seconds left, and I'm going to head back down and make sure our dismissal procedures are organized. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Tobias Tawami, the athletic director here at Garden City High School, for spending a few minutes with us here on Omnidition Sports and GCTV. This game is winding down, a 3-0 lead for the Garden City Cougars against the Thurston Eagles. Garden City keeping the pressure on here in the waning seconds. As time does expire, and Garden City wins this one 3-0 over the Thurston Eagles. Again, I want to thank our entire crew, most of which who have been here all day getting us set up for this broadcast. Eli Wasson, Malik Mansour, Zachary Witt, Rhiannon Flores, Zachary King, and our producer, director, Dan York, for helping us get on the air tonight. And I'd like to thank Tobias Tawami and the athletics department here at Garden City High School and the buildings and grounds department for their help throughout this fall sports season, along with our Department of Public Service at Garden City High School for helping us with some of the logistical issues for this long fall sports season for us. So again, for Dan York, my producer director, I'm Christian Gibbons saying so long from Garden City High School. Again, the final, Garden City 3, the Thurston Eagles 0. Have a great night, everyone.